This week, we dive into not only one of my all-time favorite movies, but it's also part of one of my all-time favorite genres, the sort of day in the life or tag-along show, as I like to call them. Not too long after recording the main segment, Danny came down with a mild case of pneumonia, so I'm doing the opening solo. Hopefully she'll be back. Looks like next episode's recording is going to be me and joined by my daughter, Lily. So, anyway, a lot of good lessons on this particular film, and not the least of which is, if people are out there underestimating you and writing your projects in a very negative light, before it's even done, just hang in there. Hang in there. The creator of this film had some rough roads, unfairly and unjustly, before the film even came out. So this is a perfect example of, you know what, let your work speak for itself. And bam, let me tell you, a lot of people are eating crow. All right. Well, not going to take too much of the time getting into this. It's a great film, some excellent lessons, so much fun to talk about, and one that you should definitely see before or after this episode. All right, folks, let's get to it.
Hey there, B-Siders. Welcome to another episode of Bravo for the B-Side. This is Danny.
And this is Jim.
And this week we have a B movie.
Yes.
That won a lot of awards. It's a pretty well-known movie.
Yes.
And it's a really good example of, I don't know how to word this exactly, but kind of like, the dangers of underestimating someone.
Yes.
In their abilities.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm happy to be doing this one finally.
Yes.
This is in my top 5.
It's a beautiful movie.
Yeah. This was my laundry movie. Every Saturday night, I would pack up my laundry and then put it in the car and drive through the complex to the laundry building, fire up my laundry, and I would throw this DVD in my laptop every single time. So at least once a week for a few years, I watched this. That was my thing. I just love this movie. And I remember when it came out, didn't get a chance to see it in theaters. We'll talk about that. There was some regret there, but this thing was panned like before it even hits. One of those deals, people got wind of who did it, who made it, and just started like spreading the shit.
But then once it came out, people saw it.
Yeah. Hope they all felt the ball kick they had coming.
Well, they did.
Oh man. So yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun to talk about. Had another busy week.
Yes.
Doing a whole lot of, nothing tangibly, just a lot of stuff that.
Well, we did a lot of stuff. We got, all your kind of like tete-a-tete preparing for spring kind of things.
Yeah.
As one does.
Yeah. Still waiting to complete the bedroom for the girl. Her frame should be here this week. So that'll be rocking.
New bikes all around.
Yes. Because we bought a killer bike for her 3 years ago. And we thought, this will be good.
For a while.
Until maybe like high school. No, shit. She outgrew it. But by last year.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, I raised everything up as high as I could. Like, oh man, she just skyrocketed. And, with COVID and plus quarantine, couldn't really even go out and do anything.
Right.
So, yeah, this was the year we finally decided we need to get her something. So we got her one and then decided to upgrade my bike because it's the oldest, like 12 years, man. That, that bike,
Yeah.
which was a great bike, but because we do things off pavement, or we want to do even more off pavement, um, yeah, my little street tires weren't going to cut it. And so then I thought, well, while we're here, we might as well just round it out.
Yeah.
So we swapped out yours.
We can do that gravelly arboretum path off the Union.
Yeah.
Now.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
I don't have to get worried.
Yeah.
Or when I see gravel coming up, a couple times I had to walk.
Yeah.
Get up and walk it.
Well, that's the plan this year. Do a lot more biking.
Oh yeah. I mean, because our bikes are decked out with the stuff that we had from our old ones. We got hers decked out. Everything's on there. Saddlebags, racks, the whole thing. We're going to be out and about as soon as it gets a little bit warmer.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
It's cool standing out there, but when you're biking after 20 minutes, like, I can feel it.
Right.
All right.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you tell us about this movie?
Yeah. Let's get this rolling. So we were talking about Lost in Translation, 2003, directed by Sophia Coppola, written by Sophia Coppola, starring Bill Murray, Scarlett Johansson, Giovanni Ribisi. It was rated R. The budget was $4 million, and the logline is a faded movie star and a neglected young woman form an unlikely bond after crossing paths in Tokyo. And there's you found a bunch of notes.
I did.
I mean, there's so many things.
So yeah, I found a bunch of notes on it. It was filmed in 27 days, which is like a ridiculously short production time.
It is. Well, and it was guerrilla filming.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of it was.
There was not a lot of permission.
Well,
But hey, you do what you do.
And then, so also, reportedly, Sophia Coppola wrote this, like the lead role in this movie for Bill Murray.
Right.
And she's said that she would not have done this movie if she couldn't get him. And the way that she got him was that, so in 1999, he had replaced his talent agency with a voicemail box that could be reached with an 800 number. And he doesn't give it out a lot.
Right.
Right. I don't know if he still uses it, but he didn't,
right.
Give it out a lot. And so he only calls back when he hears something that's interesting to him. So she got the number through her friend and someone who collaborates a lot with Bill Murray, Wes Anderson. And I guess she left hundreds of messages on his mailbox before he finally called her back to discuss this. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Persistence.
Oh yeah. I love things like this. These little weird, because this was totally off the books, right? It wasn't through normal channels. This wasn't a whole like studio on board and everyone got, casting and talent and, people calling agents and this is, all that. This was just, guess I'll call them again today.
Yeah. And this was also Scarlett Johansson's like big break movie. So she'd been in things before.
Yes.
But this was
notably
the first one that kind of made it big.
Right. The Horse Whisperer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I enjoyed very much. She was really good in that.
She was.
But I also love Sam Neill.
Oh gosh.
If Sam Neill's in it, I'm sold.
Yeah. He's one of those people it's a Sam Neill movie. Kind of like it's a Sam Rockwell movie.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Boom.
Yep,
done.
I'm there.
I'm in.
Yeah.
And she was only 17 when they filmed this.
Right. Yeah. There were some things about that. Another note that you had was the script, which can be found online. It wasn't written in the traditional sense, but it was kind of almost like Ryan Kruger did with Fried Berry. It's just broad scene descriptions that allowed for input by the actors. And I want to talk about that at the end too, is a collaborative production
Yeah, because a lot
at
of it was
that.
improvised.
Yeah, and that's super risky. I mean, think about it. What's the whole, you got $4 million. Any project film like the 300 million water world, the hundreds of millions of dollars of Marvel movies, they all hinge on that little stack of paper.
Oh, yeah.
That's the foundation. That's what tells you how much you can spend, what you need for this, what you need for that, what the actors need to do, whether or not they're going to, do it, kind of thing. There's a lot of solidity there that doesn't come from a collaborative aspect.
Right.
But yeah, the dialogue scenes were improvised. Bill Murray's lines in the photo shoot. I love that scene so much. That's my favorite scene. And his conversation with Scarlett Johansson about his shiatsu massage.
How much it hurt.
Yeah. Um, which is awesome because you can't tell the difference between the riff and the written word.
Right.
Because this is so. That's one of the reasons I loved watching it. It's calming.
It is. It's very soothing.
You're literally there with them, and it's just chill.
Yeah.
You know. Um,
And, this was based, I mean, it's kind of common knowledge if you go out there and you search about information about this movie. It was, based loosely on Sophia Coppola's experiences,
mhm.
traveling around,
Right.
being in that sort of very transitory, almost nomadic
Well,
life.
and yeah, and the whole, I mean, Lost in Translation, that says it itself. This movie, and there's a lot of things like it, and we've all had experiences, even if it's not in a foreign speaking country.
Hmm.
You know, you're just way outside of your element. This goes beyond Fish Out of Water.
Oh, yeah.
Fish Out of Water is, the comedic, heart wrenching at the same time kind of approach to a story. Uh, this is, there's all kinds of places. I've been all over the country, throughout my life, and man, there are some places where you just feel alone.
Yeah.
That's just the only way to say it. Even though
Yeah.
everyone speaks English, it's just wow. This particular place, man, this is not my culture,
Right.
and that's rough. And then you add to that a foreign country, foreign culture, foreign language of which you know nothing. Um, yeah, it's pretty cool. But we'll get into more of that.
Sure.
All right. Do you want to start talking to us about this movie?
Sure.
All right.
So we start in on a butt,
Yes, we do.
a woman's butt.
Mm-hmm.
And then the intro credits sort of softly come in
Mm-hmm.
over this. And then we see Bill Murray's face. He's in a car that's driving through Tokyo.
Yep.
He's sleepy, but as the city kind of comes into focus, he starts looking around at stuff actively.
Yeah. Well, it's night.
Yeah.
So Tokyo, man, there's few places like it at night. Oh, the light show.
And he sees his own face on a billboard for a whiskey ad.
Yeah.
And then we get to a hotel, and he's introduced to a group of people. And they're handing him lots of things, and they seem starstruck. And they're all about him.
Well, yeah. That's a huge that's like the first, the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
Because their custom of giving gifts, and it's just crazy.
And someone from the hotel gives him a note. And the note says that he's missed someone's birthday, yada, yada, yada. It seems like it's from his wife.
He missed his son's birthday.
Mm-hmm. And he gets into his room, and he's kind of sitting on the edge of his bed alone. And it kind of stays on this shot for a little while.
Yeah.
And then we're in a restaurant or lounge area, kind of both. There's a red-haired singer, and it's just kind of really it's a tribute to kind of the way that this was filmed. She is so vibrant.
Yes.
In this very kind of like dim, bar loungy atmosphere at night. So we learned that Bill Murray's character is called Bob Harris. He's at a bar. A couple of guys at the bar recognize him and they start asking him questions about his acting work.
Hmm.
And he's not about talking to these guys.
No, he's not.
So he makes a quick exit and then he's alone again in his room. You know, and it's kind of this like, can't even be alone in public.
In a different country,
Right.
right? Yeah.
And he can't sleep. It's about 4:20 a.m. and a fax comes in and it's a note from his wife earlier, you know, something banal about picking out a shelf for his office.
Yeah. And instead of just the note, she's faxing him all the assembly.
Right.
It's like it's this giant IKEA manual.
Oh man. And then we're with a young woman who's sitting on a windowsill, kind of looking out a window
Mhm.
in a hotel out at the city. And she can't sleep either, it seems. So she gets off the windowsill and there's a guy in the bed, her husband, you know, presumably.
Mhm.
And she cuddles up to him and kind of tries to wake him up a little bit and he's not about it. And he goes back to sleep and she, you know, isn't super happy about it. Then uh, this was a really interesting shot because this is how we know that they're in the same hotel,
Mhm.
right? Because she lays and it gets dark and it's the same bed, right? And the same window
Right.
and the same furniture.
Yeah.
But this is back with Bob now,
Yeah.
who wakes up and he takes a shower and he has some trouble with the short shower head.
Yeah.
He's too tall for it. Then we're back with the young woman. Her husband is a photographer
Yeah.
and he's going off to do a photo shoot. So he leaves. He's in a little bit of a rush and she tries to talk to him a little bit and he's just not engaged.
No.
So she goes and sits on the windowsill again. And then we see them both in the elevator. And they kind of exchange a look, like an awkward smile.
Yeah.
She gets off the elevator.
Well, they're the only Americans,
Right.
well, the only Caucasians in the elevator, which for Scarlett Johansson, I mean, she stands out, you know, because she's a Caucasian woman. But she's not. She doesn't have a height issue
Right.
with the people. And then you've got Bill Murray, who like the tallest person in the elevator after him comes up to his nipples. You know, the way it looks. Oh, so we jump to a commercial shoot. It's in a photo studio. We have execs talking with the director. Uh, it's not a photo shoot. It's a commercial,
Right.
literal commercial. Yeah, never mind. So they're shooting a commercial. Some execs are talking with the director, and then the director starts to speak to Bob in Japanese, and a woman translator, whom we met at the hotel when Bob arrived. She's part of the
Right.
entourage for this whole ad campaign and this whole business transaction. They're all supposed to be his like escorts to,
Yeah.
you know, do all this stuff. Um, Translates, and she says he want you to look in camera, want you to turn to look in camera. And he just kind of gives her a look. He's like, is that all he said? Because it was, you know, like a quarter page of storybook the guy was
Right.
going on about. So then he asks her if she can ask the director, is he supposed to turn right or turn left? And so then she translates. And what I just said is what he said. Do you want me to turn from the right, from the left? And she says like 100 words. And the director replies with a whole paragraph of explanation. And then she just says, right side with intensity. And I just love it. He goes, is that all he said? It seems like he said a lot more than that. And he just kind of like shrugs. He relents. And all of this is for him to turn to the camera to say, for relaxing times, make it Centauri time. That's all this is about. Look into the camera, hold up the whiskey. So he does it. The director yells, cut. A lot of words are spoken, but the translation again is very short. Bob just nods, does another take. Director yells cut, and you hear him go, hey!
Yeah,
In the
he's not
background.
pleased.
No. So now we're with the young woman who is looking at a train map at the station. She takes a train, gets off, and is looking around, and she's managed to make it to a Buddhist garden and temple. So she goes up to the temple and she's looking in from the doorway. Beautiful shots here, a lot of beautiful shots. Um, she looks not touristy, genuinely like lost, not even
Right.
like fully amazed, more just lost. Um, so later she's in her room, she's calling someone. It's her friend Lauren. The young woman's name is Charlotte, and Charlotte is in tears, talking about the visit to the temple, saying she didn't feel anything. She details some things about her husband, John, which in short makes it clear that she's having some kind of life crisis with her identity and relationship, not midlife, because
Right.
these are youngins.
Yeah.
These are some young people, 20s, early 20s. Both of them, like she's just out of college.
Right.
So all of a sudden, Lauren says she has to go. Charlotte cries some more, wiping some tears. And then we see her a little later. She's cleaned up, putting on makeup in the mirror. Then she's laying on the bed, bored. She tries hanging something from the ceiling, and when she hops off the bed, she jams her foot into the furniture. So we hear that. Pay attention.
It's funny because I missed that bit.
Oh, when she hopped down?
Yeah.
Yeah, just poof. And she's like, later, John is back in the room with his camera stuff splayed out all over the floor. He's sorting through camera bodies and lenses, and he's like mixing, matching, packing them in his bag. And I get that. John's character is not the most relatable in the thing. I mean, and it's not supposed to be. I mean, we just get like a surface of him.
Oh, yeah.
But I was heavily into the photography. When this came out, and man, I dug it. I got it. I'm like, oh, dude, I know what you're going through. Anyway, so he's doing all this stuff, talking. And the other thing about John is in this scene, we learn he talks as long as it's about him and
Yes.
his job.
Yeah.
So he's talking about, shooting a Japanese rock band and how terrible the director's ideas are. And he's like, they look better this way, but, I'm the shutter monkey. And I relate to that too. Just snap the pictures, whatever, man. And yeah, that's their interaction.
So then we're back to Bob. And he's kind of flipping through the channels, and it's just, your typical stuff. There's like the MTV-ish kind of stuff going on, various things. And there's a knock at the door, and it's a woman who says that someone sent her.
Mr. Kazu.
Mm-hmm. And she asks if she can come in, and he's like, I guess. So she asks if he wants a massage, and he's like, sure. And then she goes into this whole thing at the edge of the bed where it gets a little weird. She pulls up her skirt to reveal her stocking, and she tells him repeatedly to rip her stocking.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Over and over and over and over again. She's very insistent on this.
Right.
So he finally goes, okay, fine. And goes to grab her stocking, and she's like, don't touch me. Oh, yeah. And goes on this whole ridiculous like play acting thing that seems like a weird sex thing, but I just don't quite understand what it is.
Mr. Kazu paid for premium fantasy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and Bob is awkward and uncomfortable with this. And then we just kind of cut to him eating alone.
Yep.
And then we're with Charlotte, and she's walking through the city, and we kind of go, back and forth. And then we're back to Bob, who's meeting with the business people, the commercial people, who want him to meet someone while he's in town. And then we're back to a set, and this is a photo shoot where they're making up Bob and testing lighting around him, and he's on the phone with like his agent, I think.
Yeah.
He's super pissed.
Get me out of here.
And then everyone kind of backs away. And I just have to say, he's doing a photo shoot, but he just looks like the most miserable fucking person. that ever did live.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a whole thing to go on about.
So he's so sad about this. And the photographer is giving him all these fun directions for the shots.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit where the photographer is trying to reference like these movies, like James Bond,
Yep.
and then he's like, well, Sean Connery. And he's like, no, Roger Moore. And just,
And the Rat Pack.
right. It's fun. So then we go back to the lounge and we see the red-haired singer again. And Bob and Charlotte are both there. And they see each other and they kind of exchange smiles. And she sends something over to Bob. I thought it was like a little sake.
No,
thing.
it was the dish of nuts. Of
Okay.
some kind of nut. Whatever the traditional nut for a Japanese lounge bar is.
I don't know.
Academia? I don't know.
And so he takes it, kind of just acknowledging, looking over at her. And then he ends up leaving. And we can see on the back of his tux, there are the clips from the suit still attached to the back.
Yes. So for those of you who don't know, right, when you have a model or somebody coming in to do something, especially if it's just like a photo shoot for like a commercial, an ad, right? They don't custom fit the clothes. They don't do all that. So what they do is they find the closest thing. And so what they did for him is they have him in this tux, and in the back, it's like a facelift.
Yeah.
They pull the fabric and put these metal clamps on there to bunch it up.
Like binder, like office binder clamps.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so from the front, this looks like a nice, snug, cut, tight fit tuxedo, but when all actuality, there's 3 inches of fabric in each one of those clips. And
yeah. So then we see him get into the elevator and he just kind of smiles to himself. And then it's night and we see him in the gym struggling with a machine. It's like an elliptical.
I love it.
Which are like the most gentle machines.
But if you don't know the buttons, because they're all in Japanese, right? So he's just trying to push a button and it's speaking Japanese. And it's just doing all these things. You see him panicking. It's one of these buttons, man.
Yeah. So then we see him in the morning limping. And the group of the commercial people are asking if he's okay. And he's like, I'm fine. I'm fine. So then we see Charlotte and her husband, John, and they bump into this woman that John knows. And I think her name is Kelly.
Yes.
And she's fun.
Yeah.
She's just super bubbly. She's very familiar with John.
Yes.
Right? And she goes on in this sort of like humble brag, self-deprecating bullshit about her action movie and all this stuff. And
yeah, she's on a promotion tour.
It's kind of obnoxious.
Yeah.
And then she says that John's her favorite photographer and they joke around. They have a lot of familiarity and John's all about her.
Yeah. And John's a little weird.
Yeah.
Right? Now, at first you're like, he's just sort of like a vanilla dude. This is the scene where you're like, damn, what is up with this fucking guy?
So she leaves and then Charlotte and John bicker about it for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we kind of see Charlotte back alone in the hotel room because John's gone off to do his
He's
shoot.
off doing another shoot.
And Charlotte is listening to a self-help audiobook. And then she's wandering through the hotel. She kind of stops and listens to Kelly giving a talk about her action movie and what it's like working with Keanu.
Yeah.
Right? And Kelly's played by Anna Faris, and I just adore her.
Yeah, I was going to say the character is very Hollywood surface.
Yeah.
But it's Anna Faris. She is just the most wonderful person to see play these bit parts and big parts. I mean, yeah, we love her.
Yeah. And then she leaves that talk and she's kind of walking through a room where a bunch of women are like arranging flowers.
Yes. Meditative flower arranging, much like bonsai trimming.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, it looks pretty soothing. I'm not going to lie.
Well, it is. And, in Japan, they take all of this so very seriously. The concept is, nothing is done just because it's done. Everything has a purpose.
Intention.
Yes. And, and it is it's like painting.
Yeah.
You're very deliberate. You're very thoughtful. You have to envision and then make that come to be, right? You've got your colors. Same thing with flowers. You got all the flowers. You have your container. What are you going to do with them?
Yeah.
And yeah, they're very precise, and it can be very calming.
Yeah.
I know some people though who do things like that, and just the blood starts trickling out from the corner of their eyes. Their blood pressure gets so high because
Hmm.
they're missing the whole point of take it easy, man. Just,
Yeah.
you know,
So as she's kind of wandering through this room, a woman, almost like takes her hand
yeah,
and brings her to a station. And Charlotte spends a little time with an arrangement. So this woman kind of shows her what's going on. And
yeah.
it's nice.
And then later we see her in her tub looking out over Tokyo. Uh, it's nights. John is asleep next to her. She flips on the TV. She comes across a Japanese game show. I could talk for hours about that, but I won't. Um, but I do. I love the true Japanese game shows. They are wild, and even more so when you don't know what the hell's going on. So, and then we cut to Bob's room, and he's landed on a Kurosawa film. Then we see Charlotte leaving the room and heading to the lounge. Well, Bob is there talking to the waiter. Just some
Yeah.
random, you know, like experience he had with somebody on a set with some actor. We don't quite get it. So the waiter sees her, walks over. Bob's still talking. The waiter goes over, seats her pretty much next to him. Waiter asks what he can get for her. And of course, Bob delivers for a relaxing time. Make it Centauri time. And the waiter finishes the line with him. And she's like, what the hell is this?
And then she's like, I'll just take a vodka.
Yeah. So they're sitting there. She asks Bob what he's doing there. And this is where we kind of get it. He just kind of rolls it out very like deadpan, sort of, Bill Murray style.
Oh, yeah.
He's there. He's forgetting his son's birthday, getting away from his wife, and getting paid $2 million for a whiskey commercial. And he doesn't seem plussed by any of it. He asks the same to her, and she's there because she tells him her husband had an assignment and she wasn't doing anything, so she tagged along.
Yeah.
All right. I love the build here. It's these little things, and we kind of get where they're coming from and what they're bringing to where they are now.
Yeah.
Instead of just like showing up and all that good stuff. Um, so they start talking a little bit about marriage. Uh, Charlotte reveals she has a degree in philosophy. Very surface level small talk.
Well, it is. It's very surface level small talk, but it's also, this is the first time that we've heard either of these characters, in this whole movie, say more than like a sentence or so at a time.
Right. It's it's weird. It's that what am I thinking of? It's that awkwardness, I guess. Like on a first date, right? You want to be going out with this person and everything, and you want to know about them, but there's always that weird, how do you get the conversation rolling thing? And nothing real deep comes out. Now, this isn't really awkward. They're actually
It's
very,
very comfortable conversation.
yeah, it's very quick in coming, the responses, and when there's an answer, some sort of a remark or a response, it is a very easy conversation. You get that comfort, you
Well,
know.
yeah. I mean, I think there's something to be said for being able to kind of confide in a stranger,
Yeah,
you know, even though they're not doing, like a lot of confiding. I've always felt like, you know, um, there are some ways in which I can be really open with strangers because it doesn't fucking matter. You know what I mean? I'm never going to see them again.
true. To their conversation.
Sure.
Yeah, Charlotte just kind of comments, I wish I could sleep. I was like, yeah, me too. You know, and some of this is jet lag. Your body's in that routine kind of thing. But she's been there for a while longer.
She has.
Yeah. So, we get more, there's more going on with her. Um, so the next morning, we got Bob doing laps in a pool while an aqua aerobics class is taking place at the other end. We see Charlotte walking through a video arcade. It's insane. I love this shot every single time because I would spend a full day in one of these. Just let's go to Tokyo. What are you going to go see? I'm going to go stand in an arcade. I don't even care if I play the games. I just want to watch. Oh, it's awesome.
And that's what she does. She just watches. She
Yeah.
doesn't play any of the games.
And for the first time, we see her outside now reacting to what's going on around her,
Hmm.
right? The temple was just like, now she's in a video arcade and she's smiling. She's amused and she's like taking in what all these different people are doing, how they're all acting,
Yeah.
very differently from one another. Um, because it's a very different culture of video game players over there than here. And this captures it perfectly. It's a whole thing. Here people do that kind of stuff for their brand, that usual round of bullshit. But yeah, it's cool. I could watch that over and over again. Well, I have. Anyway, back in her hotel room, John comes home at sunset. He says he has to go down to meet Kelly, the actress, to talk about a photo shoot. And she goes, "Oh, sounds fun. I'll go with you." And he is not into it.
Right.
You can tell. Like,
Really?
what? Really? Uh, and I thought, yeah, bit of a dick. Bit of a dick. So anyway, we cut to the table that they're all sitting at. Charlotte is clearly bored with the conversation.
I I don't know how much of this scene is improvised with Kelly's lines in this scene. Uh, but it's hilarious. It's super funny. She's just going on and on. I don't want to like.
Yeah, I don't want to give the topics away, but it goes from an already weirdly boring conversation and it just derails into this completely wow, okay. Um, so anyway, during this whole thing, John is just like focused
Yes.
in on her. In fact, they're sitting at opposite ends. It's a circular table, but they're sitting opposite each other, John and Charlotte. And John's
Yeah.
right next to Kelly. Uh, and then some wannabe hip hop doofus who's sitting next to Charlotte, part of, I guess, Kelly's entourage, leans over and starts talking to her about a backbeat.
Yeah.
And I love Scarlett Johansson did such a good job of giving probably the most perfect blank. What the fuck are you talking about? Why are you even speaking to me? Look, it was a perfect swing and a miss. Anyway, Bob is across the way watching this. So she notices Bob and excuses herself and then goes to talk with him. And they make some silly small talk again. And it was silly and kind of, pointless, but it had more meat and connection than that whole table scene,
Yeah.
And then she walks away. So the next morning, John's getting ready to leave again. This time he's going to be gone for a few days. He's going to a different island to shoot. And I tell Charlotte to call their friend Charlie for something to do. And he's gone until Sunday, though we don't know what day today is.
Right.
He's saying
We're not really sure how many days it is
which,
until
if I
Sunday.
can remember, is a point I want to bring up at the end.
Okay.
So I don't want to spoil things coming.
Sure.
There's a whole thing. So he leaves, and she looks depressed and not bored. Usually, she just immediately looked bored, like when he shut the door. She was just like, now she just looks genuinely depressed. So then we have another shot of her at the window, sitting on the sill, looking out over Tokyo. And I wrote this down because I have to say I love how Sophia makes looking out over this wonderful, huge city feel so solitary and lonely. That view is spectacular. You are literally looking out over the lives of millions of people. It's like Tokyo in its fullness from that angle. And she's sitting there in this high rise hotel and literally looks like the princess locked in the tower.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's all right there for her, but she's there on the sill.
So then we see that it's dark and Charlotte's at the pool. And on her way out of the pool, she's still in the robe and stuff. She runs into Bob, who's on his way in. And they chit chat a little bit. And then she invites him to go with her out with her friends later. And he's like, oh, sure. And he gets back to his room. He opens a box there from his wife. It's a FedEx box.
Yeah.
And it's just full of carpet samples.
Yeah.
And there's a little note in it that's like, pick whatever you want for your office. I like the maroon. And they're all some shade of red or maroon.
Yeah.
Or burgundy.
Yeah, I like the burgundy.
Yeah. And he's like, which one is the burgundy?
Well, and I like this little bit about his character. So yeah, he dumps him out and he looks at it. He's like, ah. So he's in his robe and those weird slippers. He crouches down, flips them all over, starts lining them up, puts his elbow in his hand on his other hand on his chin. Which one's the burgundy?
And then he knocks on the door to Charlotte's room and she answers. And he's wearing this like neon camouflage shirt.
Yeah, oranges and yellows and like browns and green.
It's terrible.
Oh.
And she kind of laughs at him because she makes the joke about him going through a midlife crisis. She's like, wow, you really are.
Yep.
So he goes into the bathroom to turn it inside out so it's less loud. Puts on a suit jacket over it. And then he sees her self-help CD. And he's like, oh, whose is this? And she's like, oh, I don't know. And he's like, oh, I have it too. It's a good one. But jokingly. And then they go out with Charlie. And Charlie's a lot of fun.
He is.
Yeah. I don't know anything that he really is saying. But he's fun. There's a lot of chit chat. And then the filming of this part, it's very colorful and very bright. And it's really it's less about like what's going on and more about kind of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
So it's essentially just a fun night out. They're in a bar, they're talking with Charlie and his friends who all kind of have like limited English. Charlotte is kind of watching Bob throughout the whole night. And then something goes down in this bar and the bartender pulls out. You said it was a BB gun. I thought it was like a fake gun. I thought they were playing around. I didn't know that they were like.
No, if you watch, you can see it's lit up.
Yeah.
Right. And these little glowy, pellets come out. Now, it's not like a BB gun.
Like maybe a plastic pellet.
Yeah. They're not going to like shoot metal projectiles, but they do. That's kind of the thing is, these little, you can hear, and then you can hear all these beads hitting. But yeah, the group crossed the line. The bartender had enough.
Yeah. And they bolt and they get followed out for a little while. They're kind of like laughing and running down the street. And they end up at Charlie's place for a little bit of a more chill environment.
Yeah.
And then there's just all of these shots are really good. They're short, but they illustrate a lot about what's going on.
And I guess it's like a machine gun cut shot.
Yeah.
Series that because I wouldn't call it a montage.
No.
Montage has a whole different thing. But yeah, it's just like the bar scene. There's lighting and colors and the people's motions, the angles, and just the quick shots and conversation snippets. Even though it's like boom, 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 you feel more relaxed and involved than if you had from beginning to end focused on like a straight interaction.
Mm-hmm. Bob is like talking with a Japanese surfer about weed.
I love that.
Later, they're all dancing. They end up at a karaoke parlor. And these are all over Japan as well.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
This is the thing.
Yeah. There's lots of karaoke going on. Bill Murray does some. Charlotte does some.
Charlie does some.
And then we see Charlotte is in the hall having a smoke
Yeah,
break.
she's out there first.
Yeah, she's wearing this cute pink wig
Yeah.
for fun.
Yep.
And Bob comes out and they share a cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
They're sitting on this little bench, and Charlotte lays her head on his shoulder. And this shot of them
Yep.
against the zebra wallpaper thing it's become like contemporary art.
Of the whole movie, yeah, this has become iconic.
Yeah.
I mean, we were going to get phone
We've both
skins.
had it on our list.
Yeah. Skins for our phone or a case, we would go pick out and of the artwork that one was constantly ending up on both of our lists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really beautiful shot. And there are no words in it. Like they don't say anything to each other.
Nope.
And they do share some like intimate looks throughout the whole karaoke scene. And they're singing like lovelorn songs.
Sort of.
Kinda.
The one that he was singing at the end though. Not so much.
No.
But it was fun.
Then Bob ends up taking her to her room and tucking her in. And then he goes back to his room and he calls his wife. And it's kind of an interesting conversation because he starts out kind of seeming like this night has maybe made him think, I should really try a little harder. I should maybe try and connect with her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's like, you were right about the burgundy. It's just, not even a contest.
Yep.
Right. But the conversation just doesn't go super well.
Oh, no, shit. Someone walked up and put two in its head right after the third word. It's just, you could just see that point where it's like, oh.
They're very disconnected. They're having two separate conversations in the same conversation with each other.
Yeah.
And it is very poignant about kind of the disconnectedness, the isolation.
I've always equated his wife to John. Sure. She's a talker, right? But it's all about her and all about picking on him. Not that John picks on Charlotte, but just blah blah blah. And then as he's talking, she's not even listening because she's like, "Oh, so he just did this," or someone spilled milk, this and that. And you just kind of immediately get the sense that, wow, what? So we've got 4 bottles, but the matching caps are on the wrong people. And I think John and Charlotte, or John and Bob's wife would get along super well because they could just talk about themselves and ignore each other and feel fulfilled. Anyway.
So then the next morning, he's apparently got the day off. So we have just a really quick shot of him playing golf with Mount Fuji in the background. And it's a really pretty shot, but it's also really lonely.
It is. It's him on this massive fairway.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing his practice swings, teeing up, and Mount Fuji is centered in the screen. The fairway is going straight towards Mount Fuji, and you have him in the foreground. And again, even with all that majesty and stuff, I mean, it's like, fucking golf course. He's all alone.
Yeah.
There isn't like life anywhere.
No.
So after that, we later see him with Charlotte in a sushi bar. And this is where they talk about the shiatsu massage. And he's talking about how painful it is. And it's this whole thing. And she's like, oh, I get it. Yeah. Hurt my toe earlier. So then she, shows him, takes off her shoe and sock. And he goes into this whole thing about, oh my God, we got to get you to the doctor. It's like dead. It's going to be black. And he goes in this whole thing about, black toe. Oh, see, he's happy. Is that what you're going to serve here? Black toe, black toe. And the chefs are just looking at him smiling because they have no clue what this fucking guy's saying in English, right? So he finally gets her to the doctor. This scene is hands down, I think, the funniest and I think the most beautiful. So it's super hard to describe. It's Bob is sitting with an older Japanese fellow who only speaks Japanese, who is telling Bob a story. And it seems like this wonderful thing. Now, in the background, when you're watching this on the left side, there's two women in the background who are laughing their asses off, trying so, because, courtesy, decorum, that's height of culture there. So they're trying really hard not to, make a sound, trying to hide their face and all this stuff. And it's funny because, whatever story this guy's telling is amusing them. And then you have, Bill Murray as Bob repeating certain words or phrases, and they're just losing it in the background. Oh, that was hilarious. So we also see Charlotte with the doctor who's talking to her in Japanese, and she has no clue what's going on. So we see them leaving the hospital, and as they're walking, you notice they're holding hands. So Charlotte is later in her room. She's looking at some pictures, Polaroids of her and John. Bob is in his room, putting golf balls into a glass. And then we hear, as like a voiceover, a message from Charlotte about meeting her and Charlie at a bar. So we see Charlotte getting out of a car, goes into the bar. It's a strip club.
Yeah.
Bob is sitting there alone, staring, and he's actually sitting against the wall. It's this weird layout.
It is.
Right? He's on a chair against the wall. In front of him is this tiny one-person stage, and the stripper's just doing her thing. And then there's guys sitting around her on either side of her. And he's just kind of like looking away. And at one point, the stripper does this bend, and he like lurches forward like he's going to catch her, and then sees everything's okay, and he goes back to looking super uncomfortable. So Charlotte comes in, asks where Charlie is. Bob points to some private rooms where Charlie and gang are getting private dances. So they decide to leave. And as they're running through the streets, they see a truck with a massive lit up sign. And it's Bob and his whiskey ad. We get back to the hotel. Kelly is singing in the lounge. No one is near her. Kelly has like almost no part in this.
Right.
But her entourage isn't there. None of her people. There is nobody. She's down there singing, and you get the sense that, for as goofy as she might be as a person, she's also in this very solitary, lonely existence. Only for her, it's like super real. She doesn't have a, significant other or someone trailing around pretending to fill a void. She's utterly alone. It's kind of sad.
A little bit.
Later, Charlotte's in bed. She can't sleep. We get some shots of her thinking and pondering. And she finally turns on a light, gets up, roams the room. After a little bit, there's a note slipped under her door, and it's from Bob, and it asks, "Are you awake?"
Yeah, I thought that was a really fun way to, connect in this place, because, if he were to call her and she was sleeping, it would wake her up.
Yeah.
Send someone to the room, it'd wake her up if she were sleeping. If she's not, though, she'll hear the little right? The note being slipped under the door.
Yeah.
So now we're in Bob's room, and they're together watching an old movie. They're drinking sake and just chatting. She says the first time she saw him was in his clipped tux. And he says it was in the elevator. So they talk about how their first meeting, their perspectives were different, right? It's different times.
Right. He noticed her straight off.
Right. And then, they kind of fade to later. They're still talking. And Charlotte says at one point, "Let's never come here again because it wouldn't be as much fun."
Yeah.
And they talk a little bit about marriage and life. And Bob, kind of explains that as you get older and wiser about things, like knowing yourself, things get better.
Yeah.
We get Bob's marriage story. So things were great at the start, and then they had kids, and his wife stopped going, like, traveling with him as he was doing his different jobs because she was staying with the kids.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where she just doesn't even need him around. So he just does all this, these stupid whiskey commercials and all this shit.
Yeah.
Right. It's not a good marriage.
No, it's fractured hugely.
So they end up falling asleep on the bed. So we see Charlotte the next day. She's on a train to Kyoto. And she's wandering the city alone, taking in things going on. Daily life shrines. This is a beautifully filmed kind of, what's the word, like collection of scenes, I guess.
Yeah.
And she seems actually engaged in what she's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, yeah, she's watching one scene where there's it's a ceremonial thing going on in these gardens. They have
It's a wedding.
Was it the wedding?
It was a wedding.
Yeah. And anyway, it's beautiful to look at.
It is.
But you actually see her enjoying seeing it.
Right. Not just kind of existing
right. And this
simultaneously
is even
with it.
More so than like the arcade and stuff. She's like, you just kind of see like she's learned something's been undone. She knows how to suck life in,
And then we're back at the hotel, and Bob's got this super teeny tiny razor that he's shaving with.
Yeah.
And then the phone rings, and it's a message, and he has it brought to his room. And then we see him coming out of the elevator, and he stealthily sneaks past that commercial entourage who are waiting for him in the lobby.
Yeah.
And he goes outside. He calls his translator from outside because he just doesn't want to interact with these people in person.
Right.
Saying that he'll do the talk show appearance. And so we see him go and do it. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's wacky and wild. And then afterwards, he's in a cab and he pulls out a Polaroid of Charlotte from Charlie's party.
Right.
Right. And then we see him soaking in the hotel like spa tub. I don't know if it's in his room or if it's somewhere else, but he's just chilling.
I think it's one of the levels is a whole sauna spa level because we see him in a sauna at one point.
I mean, it's a pretty luxe hotel, this place.
Yeah. So they'd have like a bath house floor.
So his phone rings and it's his wife, and it's not a great conversation. She's asking about the carpet color because I guess they don't have the burgundy. So what's the second choice? And he's like, oh, Jesus, they're all the same. They're all some shade of burgundy. It doesn't fucking matter. And then he starts talking about how he wants to get healthy, eat more Japanese food. And she literally says to him, well, why don't you just stay there? Because then you can have it every day.
I know. God, I felt that kick to the nuts. Every time I see it, it's like, oh, fuck, man. Those are the like worst combination of words.
Mm-hmm. And he asks about the kids, and she's like, they're fine. She says they miss him, but they're used to his not being there. And then the call just kind of ends.
Yeah. So later he's in a sauna with some German gentlemen. They're yakking. He's just sitting there looking like Bob. Then he's in his room watching the airing of the talk show that he was on. So it's more fun stuff, some silliness. He turns it off, ends up in the lounge. The lounge singer, after singing, comes up to sit next to him on a break, starts small talk with him. And then we cut to the next morning. He's in bed, wakes up, sees a cart that has room service for two.
Right. It's like 2 wine glasses.
Yeah. And then just beyond that, a bra hanging on a chair. And then, in case none of that was going to help him click into what happened, we hear singing from the shower.
Right.
It's the lounge singer.
Yep.
He's mortified. Then there's a knock at the door, and it's Charlotte. When she hears the singer, she's pissed. but holds it very level with some thick sarcasm.
Well, here's the thing, right? Uh, she makes another kind of she's like, well, she is much closer to your age, you know, this kind of like off the cuff little,
Yeah,
comment. But it's an interesting place to be, right? In their strange relationship
yeah,
where, I mean, neither of them owe the other anything, really,
right.
right? She's upset, but she understands that she has no like technical reason to be upset.
Yeah,
So uh it's an interesting it's a I don't know, they play the tension, right, of this moment really well.
yeah. Later, Bob's walking outside. His phone rings. It's Lydia again, his wife. It's a weird call. It's very short and it completely lacks emotion. And I think it just had to do with, she's expecting his flight to arrive tomorrow,
Right.
sort of thing. Um, yeah, just further drove that nail into the exposed nerve of uncomfortableness that these two share or make us feel when they share time in conversation.
Hmm.
Um, then we cut to Bob and Charlotte, and they're at a restaurant. And this is where Charlotte's digging at him, saying Singer is more his
Yeah.
age, being kind of mean. She probably remembers your movies when you used to make movies, kind of everything. I mean, she literally just bent him over and skinned his ass for bacon with those lines. But it's very like dry sarcasm. You
Right.
can tell she's pissed, but this is like how she gets pissed.
She's she's keeping it very like surface level,
Yeah.
right? And she's
Um,
not making it about her at all. That's kind of key in this,
exactly.
right?
Yeah. But he does
Oh, yeah.
because his response is, wasn't there anyone else there to lavish you with attention? And you see her shoulder, she sits back in the booth, crosses her arms, shoulders sink, her head dips down, her chin lowers, her eyes come up, to keep looking at him. And bam,
Mhm.
you know, that was also mean. It wasn't like he
Yes.
was pointing something out.
Right.
That was straight to the heart.
Yeah.
Like the worst thing he could say to her at that point, and just skewered her with it.
Well, it's like the viper and the mongoose killing each other.
Yeah. Yeah, because she scowls at him do that whole posture thing, and he just looks lost. And then we end the scene with them sitting in silence. Like both of them know these were the wrong choices.
Right.
This conversation, no good choices were made. So that night, Charlotte's in her room. The hotel fire alarm goes off. Outside, everyone's wandering about in robes and slippers. Um, After a little bit, Bob spots her staring at him from across the valet drive. So he goes over and they start talking. She asks when he's leaving. He says tomorrow. She says she'll miss him. And then they end up at the lounge, still in their, you know, robes and everything. A different singer is there, some dude singing and playing piano, Billy Joel style. And they're holding hands as they sit. He says he doesn't want to leave. And she says, don't, and jokingly says they can start a jazz band. Don't stay with me. We start a jazz band,
Yeah.
you know?
One of the things that I kind of liked in this, when the hotel fire alarm went off and they met outside, was their way of kind of making up with each other. Was they talked about how horrible that lunch was. And it wasn't about their conversation.
Yeah.
It was about the food,
Yes.
right? Shittiest lunch ever.
Yeah. Worst lunch ever. I don't even know what we were eating.
What
Right.
kind of place makes you cook your own food?
Yeah. Okay. And then, when you're leaving
Yeah.
kind of thing. I love that. More to talk about a little bit. So anyway, we find them riding up the elevator. They look at each other kind of off and on. Now this is where it's getting uncomfortable again.
Right.
It's weird. They get to his floor. He says goodnight, and they have a very awkward kiss. It starts like almost like a forehead
Like a
to
cheek.
cheek,
Yeah.
and then barely on the lips, sort of thing. And they're fucking around with this, trying to like zone in on each other. That the door's closed. He misses his floor. So uh, next stop is her floor, and this time they'd give a like a quick like granny kiss, and she gets off.
Hmm.
So now it's morning. Bob's getting ready to go. Charlotte's room has a fax coming in from John saying he can't wait to see her that night. He's got a big heart and stuff on it, you know.
Yeah, he's apparently missed her.
Yeah,
I don't think she's thought about him all that
he
much.
hasn't called once.
No.
Nope. Bob is, whereas Bob and Lydia have been on the phone this whole time, off and on,
Right.
right? John has been persona non grata every time he steps out the door. Um, so Bob's making a call to her room, leaving a message saying that he's in the lobby getting ready to leave and that she stole his jacket.
Well, yeah, he's like, if you,
Yeah.
this is your chance to come and return my jacket.
But then as he starts to hang out, he's like, "So yeah, I'm going. I hope you enjoy my jacket that you stole." So in the lobby, the entourage is there, and they're getting together, taking pictures with him. So
Hmm.
you know how that whole thing goes. Charlotte comes down with the jacket. It is a very uncomfortable and super sad parting of ways. All of the genuine authenticity of their conversations has just like fallen back up to that weird, strange first meeting surface level. Neither one knows how to deal with this,
Right.
right? They settle for a quick bye. Bob watches her leave, and you can see he's visibly broken. Just looks worse than when he got there. So he's in his little limo and drives away, and he spots her down a cross street. So he tells the limo driver to stop. He gets out, chases after her, calls to her. She turns, and tears start to form in her eyes. They hug, and this is it. This is the moment that has driven people fucking nuts every day since.
Oh, yeah.
He whispers something into her ear. She says, okay. They break the hug. She's smiling. They kiss, a real one this time. He walks away to the car smiling. She's smiling and in tears. When he gets into the car, he looks both relieved and concerned. And it gives you the sense like something ugly has to be done. But then he also has that kind of hopeful look, like, but I know what is going to come after that kind of thing. And then we roll credits.
Right.
That's the movie. Do you want to share some of your stuff? Because I got so much I could go on
Well, I think we had a disagreement about this movie.
about. We do. We see it differently.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's purposely done in such a way that it allows for several different viewpoints.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that you feel that way.
I think people gotta have different interpretations, but
Yeah.
I'm very comfortable with mine, and I'm not open to discussion to dissuade me.
Wow.
It's not that I don't accept and appreciate your view. I just I've got my bag has been packed on this, and I'm good with it.
Well, I mean,
Share yours.
I don't even know that we need to like share our particular viewpoints on the, like the emotional repercussions of the movie because that's not the purpose of this podcast. Right? The purpose of this podcast is to discuss filmmaking.
But that's part of the filmmaking. This debate, this whole thing about that end scene, is all about filmmaking because like this is huge. I mean, I told you that people were going nuts trying to like pull audio, run it through filters and stuff because closed captioning doesn't say anything, just says whispering something,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And so people are like, well, what did he say?
You're not
Because,
supposed to know what he said.
right, this the lost in translation goodbye in the side street scene is way bigger than Rosebud ever was.
It's got a lip reader on him.
Exactly. People have gone to great lengths
Right.
to try and get it. And everyone's out there, Sophia, everyone's like, can't give you an answer when it was, literally nothing.
Right. But I think the kind of the beauty of this movie, in short, without going, like too deeply into the theories, right,
Right.
is that it allows for so many different theories about the interpretation of their relationship, about, kind of what the point and purpose of it is, what comes after, what comes next,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Because we don't know whether they ever see each other again. We don't know if they ever intend to see each other again.
Right.
You know, um,
Well, I think that's the beauty of the writing of it.
yeah.
And that's why I'm not going to allow my views to be changed or challenged. I'm good with them because this is what we talked about. I love it when it's done well,
Hmm.
kind of like any kind of movie. When it's done well, um, the fact that they don't tie it up, they leave it to the audience to interpret and run through their mind what just happened.
Yeah, the
You know,
movie is
how
telling
what
this
comes
part of
next?
that story.
Right. What comes next? And there's still forums out there today. What did you do?
I done booped my microphone.
That wasn't a boop. That was like an aggressive forearm.
Well, because I was brushing my hair out of my face and then it hit it. Listen, listen.
Hey, do it. We're talking about a movie.
I've done it
Don't
less
make.
often than you lately since we switched up this arrangement.
I haven't hit mine once today.
Not today.
Wow. Okay, so you're gonna turn this whole thing into a personal thing? Are we having our own Lost in Translation now?
No, I'm not losing anything in translation. I'm being upfront with you
Whoa.
in one language.
Why don't I just take off my headphones and go sit with the kid while you wrap this
So
up?
anyway, this is when Jim left. No, I'm just kidding.
Whatever. God, you're ridiculous. Um, anyway, I love the fact that this is every filmmaker's dream to have people talking about your movie
For years.
years and years and years, and we're coming up on 20,
Golly.
right? Coming up on 20 years from this thing's release, and people are still debating it and having passionate discussions about it, and I think that is brilliant
Hmm.
on a number of levels. Um, I I love how it ended, and I put together my vision of what it meant, what was whispered,
Hmm.
and what's going to come next.
Yeah.
And I think it takes a very skillful creative mind to present a situation where that works comfortably.
Yeah.
Because we've seen movies where we're like, what the fuck comes next? And it wasn't like they were doing this. It was just that
Oh,
that was the end.
is that it?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to talk about before we get into other stuff is so we had mentioned in the beginning that the script is out there.
Yeah.
Um, I got hold of this bad boy ages and ages and ages and ages ago. Um, and let me tell you, folks, if you read the script and watch the movie, you're gonna be fucking lost. This movie, the order of things that happen in the script, this movie was edited in such a way it bears almost no resemblance to that order. It is way out of order from the script.
Movies come together in the editing room.
They do.
And that means exactly what it is.
Yeah. But if you read the script and watch the movie, you can see where some good decisions were made to break up scenes, to spread things out, to chapter these things a little bit more
Right.
between them. Some things didn't make it. There's a couple things in the script. Not going to get into it, which is fine. Um, but I love the editing on this because it's never nothing happening, even when there's stillness.
Yeah.
You find, at least I did, I find my brain working, trying to suck it in, what's going on
Right.
and stuff. Um, yeah, it was masterfully edited, which is important
Right.
because it kept the isolationism. of these characters, what they're feeling in their lives, very upfront in every
Oh,
bit of
yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing, and so this is kind of going beyond the script. Um, and it's something that's kind of funny. I feel like in a lot of like A-list movies, they forget that, and it's just such a stupid thing to forget, that filmmaking is a visual storytelling medium,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And so they make beautiful sets, and they have, if they need costuming, great costuming. They have great actors, great lighting, yada yada. But they forget that aesthetic in a film is so incredibly important.
Right.
And so one of the steps that Sophia Coppola took in preparation for this movie was that she went to Japan and she took a bunch of photos capturing the aesthetic
Mm-hmm.
that she wanted to convey.
Right.
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 And she based all of her shots for this movie off of those photographs.
Yeah.
Right. She kept in mind 100% throughout the entire production of this film aesthetic.
Yeah. Well, it shows.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. We've talked about a lot of movies. We've talked about movies that we're not going to review because they are A movies,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's not the point of what we do.
Right.
And I find it interesting that we talk a lot about A movies that have lack of substance, and people we've talked to,
Yeah.
in interviews and just in our connections and stuff, on how so many of these things miss the boat. They don't make a connection with the audience. Marvel doesn't have to work hard.
Right.
Marvel has turned out turd after turd after turd, right? Green Lantern.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not go through the whole list. But they make bank, sometimes more than others. But they're just going on the Marvel fanboy,
Sure.
right? It's Marvel. They'll come. It's Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. you know, um, uh, with this, you can tell it was carefully done because it feels like the connection is with the film.
Yeah.
You know,
And I mean, this was at a time when she could have, and someone had tried to talk her into filming it in HD or something.
mm-hmm.
And she specifically was like, no, I want to do it on film, like actual celluloid,
Mm-hmm.
because that's much more romantic to me. And that's how I'm connecting with this project.
And we've talked about it before. Shooting on film will give you a look that nothing else. You can duplicate it, come close to it with digital, with filters and all that shit. But any eye who any eye that looks on this kind of thing will immediately tell you film filter, or
Yes.
film digital filter. And there's a depth, a richness to film that definitely works with this.
Well, even in all of the shots, so there's so many shots of Tokyo,
mm-hmm.
Kind of like establishing these are the second reel, right?
Right.
And they're not even necessarily like super glamorous shots of Tokyo. They are very like mundane, day to day, cloudy sky,
right.
hazy horizon.
Right.
Not the kind of shots that make it onto a postcard.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're there specifically to make this place, more real. It's more real.
Well, here's a good example. Okay, the big 5-point that's in every movie. Mm-hmm. It's like their Times Square.
Yeah.
Right. That was guerrilla shooting. You need a permit, and she couldn't afford to pay to stage that. To have that intersection for like even an hour. And if you watch this and you think of all the movies you've seen where they're in Tokyo and they're crossing in this massive, 5-way crosswalk.
Right.
It's kind of like what we were talking about earlier about Vikings, how their sets are, building them, they're wonderful. And then CW, everything looks like a fucking set.
Right.
Right. all these films that can pay, okay, we're going to tie up that intersection for an hour, right? We're going to get in there and shoot this. So they hire extras, they bring them in
Hmm.
and stuff. It's all manufactured. There's a lacking of authenticity.
Yeah.
She guerrilla shot this, which does two things. One, I think adds a little bit of livelihood to what's
Right.
going on, and you get to see how chaotic everything is. And two, because it's guerrilla shooting, there are no booms, there are no lifts, there's nothing. It's shoulder level, and they gotta, get in and get around all these people. It's very much like you're there. And when they look up at the buildings, it's POV,
Yes.
which makes it very real. They say that fascinating digital sign with the brontosaurus walking
Yeah.
across the, well, it's actually walking across the windows of a building.
Right.
Someone else would focus on that. Nice still shot, nice and calm and everything. We're getting it in the midst of this whole thing. She's just trying to get across the street,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, that fits the aesthetic. Everything is very intimate,
Right.
and I love that.
Yeah. And it doesn't, none of it feels glamorized. It's very pure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, even the temple shots and stuff.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not a whole, it's not crowds of people. It's not this whole big thing going on. They don't over embellish it. It's what actually goes on. And then she sees this wedding, and it's what actually is happening. And we see her reaction to it,
Right.
and it gives us, wow, that's a pretty place. Oh, that's nice. And everything. I think the music choice helped too.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know that I would have ever actively sought out all these little pieces of music, but having watched, after watching the film, I'm like, I like that. I like that. I like running into new music.
Oh,
It's,
yeah. We do that all the time.
yeah. I mean, we just bought a bunch of stuff.
Music. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but except for the song for the strip club,
Oh, yeah.
as soon as it cuts to it, you get inside and they're sucking on my titties. Could have done without that.
Well, it is
But
a strip club.
I mean, it fits, yeah. But not on my playlist.
No.
No. Um, so yeah, a lot of good music. But the composed music is great too. There's a lot of stuff they got from it's rock stuff and otherworldly punk stuff. Um, I don't know. It was again that everything she tonally put this thing together. I would say perfectly,
Oh, yeah.
right? It's kind of crazy,
It is.
but it can be done. And that she did it undoubtedly. I would love to talk to her someday.
Oh, yeah.
The uphill battle she had to have fought
Yeah.
behind the things, the shit they didn't write about, and she hasn't probably even spoken about. You know, it's kind of why she got panned. Coppola's daughter thinks she can fucking direct.
Right.
Like, what, man? Why would you even? Come on.
It's,
She
yeah.
can.
I mean,
She did, and
I
she
feel
still
like,
is.
yeah, there's something to be said for, like nepotism and that kind of thing in Hollywood because it does help to be related to someone who's, been through that. But that does not necessarily mean that, the person is not talented in their own right. Right.
Absolutely,
And I
absolutely.
don't think it's right to automatically judge them and say, "Oh, she's only able to do this because she's, Francis Ford Coppola's daughter."
And you know what? Even if that were the case,
Right.
say that was it. Say he put all this together and then just sat her in the chair. Still comes down to, can she do it? And fuck yeah, she did.
Yeah.
And like I said, and still doing it.
But that's not what happened. She drove this
Oh yeah,
whole project.
yeah.
And she ended up winning an Oscar for best screenplay, I want to say. I can't remember. What?
I'm surprised you didn't zero in on that.
What?
Nail it beforehand.
Well, calm down. I'm
Ah,
looking it up.
well, while you're looking it up, one of the things we wanted to talk about was the whole concept of collaborative filmmaking. So for folks who remember, if you've been listening for however long, our interview with Ryan Kruger. So Ryan Kruger, when he wrote Friedberry, he did a short film, and when he etched it out into a feature script, uh, it was just a few pages, mostly of notes, and then an occasional. I think at some point one of the characters would say this kind of thing.
Oh,
It-
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
um, and that's what he used to work with. And a lot of that film was working with the actors to put the movie together. Um, the Lost in Translation, I think, is a perfect example of uh, things have to be in the right order. You know,
Right,
the right recipe has to be there. So say it wasn't Bill Murray, say it was some other guy who doesn't have Bill Murray's experience in open mic, in Second City Television, Saturday Night Live, all these years of filmmaking, and literally building a career on being himself, and you know,
yeah,
and just having, and people let him do that and seek him out because he's good at it. He can give you something, but he doesn't act like somebody not even close to who he is,
right.
right? You know, you're not going to see Bill Murray in Schindler's List playing a Nazi prison camp guard.
No,
No. Um, but, when you have this combination of stuff, because we've talked about it, characters come to life on the page, they come to life in the writer's head. When the director sees this, they come to life in his head based on what the page has given him, and then his broader vision of how I'm going to turn this into something people actually look at
right.
and moves and makes sound. That's where you get into casting. And we have, I mean, the history of Hollywood is replete with bad cast choices.
That's true.
And sadly, more often than not, they're poor choices. So we watched Weekend at Bernie's with our daughter.
Oh, heck yeah.
Um, because we talked about while we were playing D&D, we were making, Weekend at Bernie jokes because her soulless body was being carried around as we're searching for her soul and stuff.
Yeah, we were weekend at Bernie'sing
Yeah.
her through the
And
seven
and she
heavens.
had no clue. So we were like, all right. So went to look for it. Can't rent it or do anything. So we bought it.
Well, she specifically was like, I have
Well,
to watch this movie
yeah,
because you guys are making all these jokes about it, and I want to understand the jokes that you're making.
yeah. So we got it. And, you know, uh, it was fun.
I hadn't seen it in such a long time. I forgot how fun it was.
But here's the thing: Andrew McCarthy, Jonathan Silverman, okay, these two guys were riding the A-list wave. And Andrew McCarthy, especially, was getting project after project after project after project. Andrew McCarthy was not an ideal pick for that movie. And I say that not based on performance or anything, simply because I know the fact behind it is he was put in it because of who he was,
Yeah.
right? And that's where a lot of great movies get just tossed in the shitter, because Hollywood, I mean, it's a business, right? So, you know, Bob McGee is,
Whose name is going to sell this movie?
yeah, is going to sell this movie, and he's riding fucking high. He's got like 8 films. They've all done super well. People love this shit, you know. And, you step back and you're like, yeah, but they're shallow and, this and that. And that doesn't matter, man. Bank, bank, bank.
Right.
Right. So then we're going to throw him in this movie. And we're going to throw him in this movie. And then we got, because Hollywood has scripts floating around that are like 20 fucking years old. They'll pull it out of the dust and be like, hey, you know what? We can make this for super cheap. And we're going to get this guy to be in it
Yeah.
because he owes me.
Yeah.
Right. That kind of thing. And it's almost like old Hollywood, where studios owned the actors, literally owned them.
Right. You were contracted with a studio.
Yeah. And it was beyond contract.
Yeah.
They could make or break an actor, male or female. And there are plenty of movies and books written about that era of how people were just fucking steamrolled into doing the worst shit, and being threatened, and you can't do this, and you're not going to make that movie, or you're going to make this movie and you're going to be good in it, or I will fuck your career forever. That was a fact.
Oh yeah.
They could.
You look at what happened to like Judy Garland.
Yeah.
you know, really unfortunate. I have looked it up.
Okay, you've looked it up.
I was right,
Okay,
by the way.
I didn't say you were wrong.
Well, I need you to say it to me.
Well, why don't you tell me?
Okay, so
so I can.
Sophia Coppola, for her, part in making this film, became the first woman to be Oscar nominated for writing, directing, and producing a film. She won for Best Original Screenplay.
Okay. And that's fine.
Ba-da-da.
I just never, that wasn't anything I focused on. But kudos. Is that what you want?
Well, who's that kudos for?
You.
Oh, okay.
Well, for R2 over here.
Just checking.
I'm waiting for him to start up during a podcast.
Well, if I lifted BB9E here and then put him back in probably like an hour or so, or 20 minutes, they'd start talking.
Yeah, but I was sitting here during the day and nobody's touching anything. All of a sudden, he'll just go off his fucking rocker. Oh, really?
He's going to do it tomorrow.
Oh, God damn it.
Or later today.
Is that what I bet you fucking come here and do that every night.
No, I don't. I
just
don't.
Some nights when you can remember, and that's when it's like,
This is the first time I've ever done it.
It's disheartening to sit here and have a tiny, what do we got there? 6.5 inch, 7-inch tall little R2D2 sitting on top of my drives. All of a sudden, just start going fucking nuts at me. It's a little unnerving.
So let's talk about this movie.
Yeah, moving on. So anyway, let's get back to the collaborative thing. Having someone put in a film because of their ranking doesn't necessarily give you the optimal choice for that character. Right. Or the role in the movie. Let's just, broader, what they're going to bring to the film. I fully believe that there was a huge comfort level with, we're going to just let them kind of ramble. Because Bill Murray, not only can he just freestyle forever, but he has the ability to bring people in.
Yeah.
And get them to freestyle, even if they're not good at it.
Right.
Right. He just has that. I think that's brilliant. That's a huge gift.
Yeah.
Huge gift. But I think it just added to the comfort level of the intimacy of this film. Nothing's wooden.
Right.
And
and she didn't write this part for Bill Murray because she wanted to make a Bill Murray movie, right? She wrote this part, for him because she knew that he was the best person for it. Right. The only person for it.
And that's the huge thing we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. You can't write. Well, that's what they used to do again in old Hollywood. They'd write movies specifically for Humphrey Bogart, specifically for John Wayne, and this kind of thing. Clint Eastwood and stuff. It's like, oh, this, and this is for you. This is your movie. That's what we're going to make, and you're in it.
Yeah.
They didn't have to audition.
No.
Right. Humphrey Bogart was just, he'd get called up. All right, we got your next movie. Start Monday.
Cool.
Fuck. Okay. Technically, this movie rocks.
Oh yeah.
Sound, framing,
mm-hmm.
all of the artistry from the technical aspect is there, dead on. Which again, when I first saw this, after this, but I want to talk about the whole theater thing.
Okay.
When I first saw this, all I could think of was, I get how people could be dicks and pan somebody for doing something, before it even comes out because of who they are. But I'm like, who's the sorry motherfucker who saw this and couldn't find anything good to say about it? Even if you thought the story was weak and you didn't care for it because it wasn't your jam, which I think is what a lot of critics do. If it's not in their wheelhouse, I haven't seen a critic constructively go after a movie that's not anything that they like in terms of genre. Right?
Yeah.
But, look at what she did. Those shots are beautiful. The framing is beautiful. The timing is beautiful.
Yeah,
And the editing
it's beautiful.
is very beautiful.
I mean, this
Yes.
movie is an art piece, and it's something that a lot of A-list movies lack being as art pieces. You
Yeah.
know, I don't think I can think of a single A movie that in itself exists as what I would consider to be high art.
I think there's some. I think if we thought hard, I think we could pick a couple, but those are like the outliers.
Yeah.
Those are the rare moments. A-list movies are about making money, pushing all the buttons, flicking all the switches, checking all the boxes, and getting somebody on the screen to, bring people in kind of thing. But I think there's a couple. But again, I think there's way more in the B-side indie movie side because, that's why we do this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good shit out there.
I suppose Guillermo del Toro movies are high art.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that he's A-list
I don't know.
necessarily. Not all. Well, let's just say I don't know that all of his movies are A movies.
True.
But I'll watch it. One thing I wanted to talk about was the whole movie theater experience bit. One thing about this film that I regret is never seeing it in a movie theater. Because when I saw it, I think the biggest decent TV, I think I only had a 20-inch, maybe 26-inch, tube TV. It was a Sony, so
Yeah.
it's a nice picture. Anyway, popped in that DVD and was just amazed. And I thought, shit, I bet this would rock in a theater.
Probably.
Because instead of sitting back on my couch with the little screen, enjoying this, in a movie theater, you're so much more immersed because it's so big. And I just feel like everything Sophia, fought for to bring to the screen about loneliness, isolation, all of the despair that we feel from these things, even though we're in a marriage or in a relationship or, like Kelly, successful career as an actress.
Right.
And yet she's singing in a fucking lounge alone at like 3 a.m. in Tokyo because none of her people could be bothered to be there. She doesn't actually have friends. She has an entourage.
Right.
Right. I think it would have been so much more. And I admire people who saw it in the theater because it had to have been much more impactful. That big on the screen, And for me, I would have gone to see it alone. So I would have been in a theater surrounded by people watching this alone. Talk about a connection.
Right.
Right. So yeah, I hope when you watch this, folks, biggest screen you can. The biggest screen you can. If you have to cajole a friend with their 80-inch television, do it. Get
Well,
over there and
watching
see
it on our TV was probably the biggest screen you've seen it on.
Well, yeah. Well, for ages, it was either on the TV or on my 15-inch laptop.
Right.
Doing laundry like a well-oiled machine.
Oh
Yeah. So collaborative filmmaking.
yeah.
It's an art, and I would encourage you directors out there, give it a thought. Give it a thought.
Yeah.
As a writer, I say that a little hesitantly, because I wrote the words, please use them. Right.
Sure.
But we're always open to that too. It's like who do you picture in this role? Well, for one of our scripts, we're like, we have no fucking clue.
I don't know.
No, because we have no ethnicity. We have it's a male character, but we always thought, you know what? It'll become perfectly clear as soon as that actor walks through the door.
Yeah.
Because there's it's part of the art.
And then there's others where we were like, well, there's about 5 people that I could think of.
Right, a specific type of person. And then we have the category for some characters like, well, if he was still alive, this guy. If she was still alive, this lady.
Yeah.
But they've long left us. We're like, so we need to find somebody like this.
or it'd be like, you know, the 20-year-old version of, like Ian McShane.
God, right?
Right?
Oh, I take a 20-year-old version of Ian McShane because I
Oh
remember him in Space 1999.
yeah.
I'm like, oh, I love that fucking guy.
But Ian McShane isn't 20 now, so we need the 20-year-old version of him
Lord knows he's not.
or someone similar.
Yeah,
I mean, you range the gamut, right?
you do. You do. And it's important to do that. We've talked about it. When you make up your shit, someone's going to ask you, who do you see in this role? Because they want to know what you have as kind of a vision for what kind of look, what
Right.
kind of feel you want brought to this character.
What kind of performance?
Yeah.
Right.
So we always have ideas, even for when he comes through the door, that'll be the one. Well, no, that's the one. But we have an idea of what we want it to be, so we can get some comps. Technically, this thing, God, watch this. Watch this
beautiful.
movie. Even watch it without the fucking sound and just look at the visuals.
That's the other thing, aesthetic and high art.
Yeah.
If your movie doesn't necessarily need to be high art, we watch a lot of movies and cover a lot of movies that I don't consider high art.
Right.
Or fine art. I don't know. I mean, they're all art, right? This is an art form. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between, like a cartoon drawing of of some character as artwork on your wall and, like a Renaissance portrait.
Yeah. That's perfect.
That's
I love that.
It's the difference.
Yeah.
Right. They're both art. It's just that,
Yeah. Yeah. We're not going to get into
anyway.
Yeah. That whole debate, but, yeah, it makes sense. They're both art, but you have to have what you're looking for and you got to keep it maintained. And she does.
Right.
She does. She nails it.
Yeah.
Or nailed it in this. Boom. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that, folks, watch this movie, learn from it.
Yeah. If you
say.
haven't seen it in a while, watch it again.
Yeah.
If you've never seen it,
We've
watch
got
it.
I will say, if you have a chance to get it on DVD, grab the DVD. I mean, it can't be but like $5 now, right? I've had it on DVD forever, but we bought it digitally.
Yeah.
Just for
ease.
Yeah, I can watch it here and there and everywhere without having to pull that fucking disc. I got an iPhone, I got a DVD. That's not going to fucking happen.
Right. Our
Right.
laptops don't even have,
No, but we got a drive.
Well,
Yeah.
separately.
Yeah, but I can't plug it into the iPhone.
Anyway.
Doesn't care for it. Okay. But anyway, I just want to quick recommend getting the DVD because there are extras on it. A lot of behind the scenes stuff, which is wonderful. You get to hear Bill Murray use how he learned some broken Japanese and used it on people and the reactions and stuff. It's fun. The digital version does not. There are no iTunes extras.
Right.
Right. So if it's purchased from another platform, it might be on there. I doubt it because usually they don't with these kinds of films. We have a great many wonderful films that don't have any extras that I know the DVD had a couple things.
Yeah. And, a point of note, Bill Murray has said publicly that this is his favorite movie that he's ever done.
Yeah. And I can see why.
Yeah.
All right. So with that,
go check out our website. It's www.lordsofmisrealproductions.com. There you can find all the stuff. Our blog, links to our social media accounts, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, link to our Patreon page.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you like this podcast and you want to support us, go check that out.
Yeah.
Because once we meet our goals, we're going to be doing some real cool stuff.
Yes, indeedy. When you're checking us out on social media, I said it before, I'll say it again. Check everybody out who's following us and check out everybody we're following. Lot of creatives there. Authors, writers, directors, producers, musicians. We got all kinds of people that we follow and follow us, and more importantly, other podcasters.
Yeah.
Give their podcasts a listen. Some great ones out there. We've had like 5 or 6 in the last couple of days follow us, and I've been following them back. There's so many.
There are. And there's a lot of really wonderful, content creators out there.
yeah, just give everyone you can a listen. I know it's hard, it's daunting. I mean, shit, because I can't listen to all these podcasts that I try,
Yeah.
but time, man,
Well,
time.
yeah, I can't listen to them all
I get
either.
it, but
But
happy to promote them, happy to talk about them. Some of them I'd love to talk to. Some more of them.
yeah.
Got to talk to Miles soon.
And if you have done like a film or, been in a film or written a script or, whatever, and you want to talk to us, reach out to us. You can find our emails on our website.
Yeah. One for the podcast, one for info. So if you have podcast questions or comments or things, you can send it to podcast@lordsandmistfulproductions.com. If it's just like general stuff, send it to info. Send it to either. I don't give a shit. They're just,
Well,
so
we
they
answer
say
both of them.
they say it's better to have two separate addresses to give that air of organization.
It's really just us.
They all, well, I mean, they're separate. Yeah, it's just us. And they both come into, my mail program. So it doesn't matter what they fucking write to.
Right. Anyway, pick one. Email us or reach out to us on Twitter.
Yep. Keep wearing a mask.
Yeah.
I can't wait till I don't have to say that shit anymore, but we're not done. Doesn't matter if vaccinations are out there, folks. We've got to keep going like nothing's happening because it's not over until it's over, and it won't be over until we're told it's over, not when we think it's over. It's pretty simple, but anyway, because more importantly, we've got these new bikes. I want to fucking get out of this fucking house and ride from here to downtown and through town and spend our weekends rolling.
Yeah.
We're packing up the bikes and heading out to some beautiful trails.
I know.
And just doing the thing. Because I am
get the hell out of this house. I'm sick and tired. Sick and goddamn tired.
I'm just sick and tired of not doing anything.
Being held back by this shit.
I know.
So I want it to be done. So let's all, get on the same page and get the shit over with.
Yeah, grow up a little bit and just, fucking be responsible. And I'm going to say it plainly. Looking at you, Texas.
Hey, Texas.
All right.
Anywho.
So, on a much more positive note, thank you once again for listening to us, B-Siders. We'll be back at you next week with another episode. Got interviews coming up. Got stuff, happening. Life still goes on. So, got some fun movies in the queue and working on some chats, and it'll all be coming.
For sure.
All right.
All right.
So, until next week.
This is Danny.
This is Jim.
I almost forgot what I was supposed to say at that point.
Take two.
It was a long pause.
All right, B-Siders. Until next week.
This is Danny.
This is Jim. And we'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Leave those both in there.
I will.
Have a good week.
Bye.